Mr. Ziegler, I want to talk first about your work on the Heisman campaign.
Sure.
So when you joined the Heisman campaign, that was about a year ago, isn't that right?
Yes.
And you took a substantial pay cut.
Yes, I did.
So you were making $24,000 on the Heisman campaign.
That's correct.
And that was about 1/10 of what you've been making at the law firm that you worked at previously.
Yes.
But you thought that this pay cut and this work, that it was worth it, right?
Yes, I looked at it not as a pay cut, but as an opportunity to try to get my feet wet in politics. It was always something I was interested in.
Well, it was an opportunity because you were promised by Max Heisman that you would be made press secretary if
Yes.
Mayor Heisman was reelected, isn't that right?
Yeah, that was our initial agreement.
And that was worth it in your eyes.
I thought so.
So when you worked on the Heisman campaign, you were the communications director.
That is correct.
So you were in charge of all messaging.
I helped out with the messaging, yes.
And you didn't believe in lying outright, Mr.
No,
Ziegler,
no.
but twisting facts is fair game.
Yes, that's normal politics, yeah.
Now I want to talk about this meeting that you just testified to that occurred on January 10th.
Okay?
Now you talked about a memo that Mayor Heisman handed you,
Yes.
and you said that this memo, well, it was addressed to all senior staff, isn't that right?
I didn't say that, but if you hand it to me, I can read you to who it was
Your Honor,
addressed to.
permission to approach the witness and opposing counsel?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now it says at the top that this is addressed to Mayor Heisman and all senior staff.
Yes, that's correct.
And in this meeting, it was just you, Mayor Heisman, and Tom Lyon.
And at first, her polling expert that she hired, Chase Michael, was there.
But Chase Michael wasn't in the room at this time, isn't that
No.
true? So it's just the three of you, and you were the senior staff, is that right?
I was part of the senior staff, but there's more who was not there.
Well, these were the only three people who saw this memo, isn't that right?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation. He can only testify to what he saw. He can't speculate as to who else received this memo.
It's cross. He can say what he knows. Overruled.
You were the only three people who saw this memo, isn't that right?
Initially, when it was handed out, but if they sent it to the senior staff, I'm assuming that they all saw it.
But you don't know.
I do not know.
Now, I also want to talk to you about the meeting that you say that you witnessed on February 28th. Now, you were working in the office middle of the night, isn't that right?
I was there. Yes, I was there.
You were working late.
Yes.
There was
Oh, I had a
no-
pretty big project I was
There was
working on.
nobody else in the office.
It was myself, Mayor Heisman, her campaign manager, and then eventually the guy Casey came and met with them.
And so that man entered the building with Tom Lyon.
Yes.
You didn't speak to these people as they were walking in.
No, I did not.
You just saw them.
Yes.
And since you were the only person in the building, it's safe to say that nobody else saw them either.
Outside of Mayor Heisman, Tom Lyon, and whoever might have been in the parking lot,
So as far as you know, nobody else saw this man.
I have no idea.
And then you say that they met in the conference room for 3 hours.
Yes.
And once again, there was nobody else in the building at this time.
Yes, in the building, no.
So when this man left with this manila envelope that you say he was carrying, once again, Mr. Ziegler, you were the only one who saw him.
It was just the four of us, so.
So I want to clarify this. Now, during this meeting, when you talked about this memo, Mayor Heisman and Tom Lyon, they showed it to just you.
I was in the meeting when they first brought up the strategy, but they apparently sent it to the entire senior staff.
Well, in this meeting, you were the only one that
Yes,
showed it
that's correct.
to. And in this meeting on February 28th, you were the only person who saw this man come into the Heisman campaign office.
Yes, I was there working late, trying to show the initiative.
And you were the only one who saw this man.
Yeah, well, outside of the other two we met with, yes.
Mr. Ziegler, I want to clarify, you're not subpoenaed to testify today, are you?
I was not subpoenaed, no.
You're testifying voluntarily.
Yes.
And I want to talk about why that might be. Now, Mr. Ziegler, you are press secretary in the city of Truman, are you?
Am I? No, that's not right.
Because you were fired from the Heisman campaign.
Oh, no, I was never fired. I've only been fired from one job. That was KFC for obvious reasons.
So you're saying that you weren't fired, Mr. Ziegler? Is
I'm
that
not-
what you're testifying?
I was never fired as Mayor Heisman's campaign communications director, no.
So it's your testimony that you weren't fired.
I wasn't fired. She elected not to rehire me, as press secretary, but I was never fired as her communications director.
All right, so Mr. Ziegler, you weren't fired, but you don't work for the Heisman campaign anymore involuntarily.
Excuse me?
You didn't choose to leave, Mr. Ziegler, did
No,
you?
like I said before, she went in another direction.
All right, and she went in another direction, and she chose not to make you press secretary.
That's correct.
You weren't livid.
Initially, yeah, I was.
At the time, you were livid.
Yeah,
You
initially,
said things that would make a sailor blush.
I did.
When you walked out of the Heisman campaign office, and you never came back, Mr. Ziegler, isn't that right?
Well, she no longer needed my services at the time, so no, I did not.
You walked out, and you never went back.
No.
And you tried to find work at your old firm.
I did go back to my old firm, try to find work, but they told me they were downsizing, so I was not brought back on.
So they didn't hire you.
No, they did not.
And you think that's Max Heisman's fault.
That's possible, but they told me they were downsizing.
That's what you think, Mr. Ziegler.
I think it's a possibility, sure,
So
but
you
they
think-
told me they were downsizing.
You think Max Heisman stabbed you in the back.
Initially, for not hiring me when she promised to make me her press secretary, that was my initial reaction. I did feel like that, but you know, it's just politics. I had to learn. I'm new to the business. I had to learn it out the hard way.
Mr. Ziegler, the answer to my question is yes, you think that Max Heisman stabbed you in the back.
Initially, when she went back on her promise to not make me press secretary,
That's what you think, yes or no?
initially I did, yes.
And now you're testifying against her today.
I was called by the plaintiff, yes.
You volunteered, as you already stated.
I was not subpoenaed, no, I was not.
No further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Briefly,
All right, I'll hold you to that.
Mr. Ziegler, the fact that you were not rehired for the Heisman campaign, has that affected your testimony in any way?
Not at all.
Objection, Your Honor, this is more prejudicial and probative.
In what way?
Your Honor, the witness can't bolster his own testimony by saying that he is not biased. That is for the fact finders to determine.
No way. Overruled.
No further questions.
Thanks.
May the witness be excused?
Yep.
May I approach you with
Yes,
your
please. Last witness for the plaintiff?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the plaintiff calls Greg Garcia to the stand.
Sounds good.